I'm very lucky in that I present, amongst other TV jobs, I do stuff on This Morning with Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield. I do ghost hunting shows, I do all game shows. But my bread and butter job, the mortgage payer, is I'm the co-host on BBC London 94.9's Breakfast Show with the divine Penny Smith, okay? But that means I have to get to work, the BBC Broadcasting House, Portland Place, just off Oxford Circus. I have to get there before 5 a.m. And it's about 40 miles to get to work. And that was 80-mile round trip-ish, which was probably costing me about 150 quid a week in petrol, which over the course of a year is around 10 grand. On top of that, what really rankles with me is the congestion charge. I'd be scooting into London well before it was in force, but I'd have to pay a tenner a day, Boris, £10 a day to leave the congestion zone, to reduce congestion. And that was about 2.5 grand a year in the congestion charge alone. Suddenly, I saw the light. I saw the future. It was staring me in the face. The simplest thing in your house, the 3-pin plug point. And there it was. And that powers this futuristic, gorgeous to die for baby, the Nissan Leaf. It saves money, it's convenient, it's fantastically luxurious, got all the bells and whistles, it's got a little camera when you're reversing, it's got the CD player, it's got the sat-nav. It's one thing it hasn't got. It hasn't got a petrol cap. Because it doesn't need it. I charge it out my front window, brilliant. Fully charged in probably about 8-ish hours. Then I drive it to work. It's got about 80, 90 miles charging it, maybe getting on for 100 if you keep the speed down a bit. And when I get to work, I park it in a car park just off Oxford Circus, and it's got free 3-pin plug points for electric cars. So I recharge it at work and come back. Even better news, if I'm hopping around London in it, and your Nissan Leaf, your electric car is a fantastic town car, if I'm driving it around town, I need to top it up. I don't have to knock on somebody's door. I don't have to prevail upon somebody to lend me their 3-pin plug. I've got one of these. That will let me charge this car at any of the TfL Transport for London charge points. I had to go online and get it, and I had to pay for it. Nothing comes for free. I had to pay for it. This card, which allows me to charge my car, I'm almost tearful at the thought, anywhere in London for free, £10 for a year. I had a certain electric car paranoia, anxiety, stress for no reason. You've got to make a psychological click, a psychological gear change to get an electric car. And it's very simple because you think, if I'm stuck on the motorway and I run out of juice, I'm not going to be able to charge it. What's going to happen? I'll be there at 4:30 in the morning. Woe is me. What will I do? But when you think it through, that's exactly the same problem, and it's not really even a problem you have with a petrol or diesel car. We've all driven on the orange light. We've all run on empty for a few miles. It's like me getting in any car, diesel, petrol, whatever, with a 100-mile range. And if I've got 100 miles, I just plot my journey accordingly. I never really noticed those charge points until I'm driving an electric car, until I'm driving a Nissan Leaf. Then, of course, you notice them, and you realise just how many of the things there are and how many more on the way. Now, here's the big thing about the cost of running an electric car. This baby, the Nissan Leaf, it takes maybe 8-9 hours to charge, okay? 8-9 hours to charge. You might want to know the cost of that in electricity on your bill. £2.30 to charge this, and you've then got getting on for 100 miles out of it. Think about that. How can this not be the answer? That's less than a McDonald's Happy Meal to charge the car, and boy, this makes me happier than a Happy Meal. It's even less if you've got one of those overnight night storage type rates. I must admit, the first time I sat in the electric car, I felt like I was 17 again having my first lesson, because no ignition, you get in there, you put your foot on the foot brake, and you press the big blue button, and you hear nothing but like a little chorus of bells ringing. I would say, hand on heart, within an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was as comfortable behind the wheel and as confident behind the wheel as I have been since I passed my test. Because it is, when you think about it, plain and simple, just a car. Yes, it was the car of the year, and quite right too, but it is just another car. If you imagine it, in fact, my wife said this to me, she said, just think of it as a car with a really quiet engine. They said that everything has a catch. Not with this. Not with this. This is perfection on 4 wheels with 5 doors and a gorgeous, sexy voice sat-nav. This is the future, and it works.